You know that sometimes things are so contradictory, they just work? Well, today, we're jumping into a theatrical performance that's all about that. It's a place where logic gets totally flipped on its head, and what comes out the other side is something way more interesting, and maybe even truer. Okay, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, just look at this. Yeah, that's a man drinking from a bowl that is also the top of his own head. And if you're looking at that and you kind of pause and maybe you crack a smile or you tilt your head, then you're already getting it. That's exactly the point. So, welcome to the weird, wonderful, and honestly pretty deep world of Tácito and Perfecto. This is a performance designed from the ground up to mess with how we think about pretty big things like time, failure, and even who we are. And this whole journey into the absurd, it kicks off exactly where it should, with the title. Seriously, the entire conflict of the show is baked right into its name. So let's break that down. The title is this perfect little linguistic puzzle. You've got tacito on one hand. In Spanish, that word means something that's understood or implied, basically something that's already happened, a thing in the past. Then you have imperfecto. That's a verb tense, the imperfect, and it describes an action that's still happening, something incomplete, a condition of the future. So you got the past and the future mashed together in one awesome contradictory phrase. And right there, that's the engine that makes this whole thing run. The paradox. You know what a paradox is, right? It's a statement that seems totally absurd at first glance, but if you dig a little deeper, it actually holds a really profound truth. And that idea, that's the key to unlocking everything this performance is about. So, okay, we get the concept, but how does this paradox thing actually show up on stage? Well, it takes the shape of what you could only call the art of the absurd. And get this, it's all framed as a conference. About time. A conference, right? So what does that mean? Well, it's a talk about time, but it's deliberately stuffed with stories that are probably made up. So you have this very serious academic sounding setup, and then it's totally torpedoed by what the creator calls clownadad, basically the spirit of being a clown. And here's the kicker, the biggest paradox of all. The entire point of the show is to fail. I mean, think about that. The show is actively trying to create a failure that brings laughter. That's a paradox right there, isn't it? We spend our lives trying not to fail, but here, failure is the whole goal. It's the source of all the fun, all the joy, and the way it connects with everyone watching. So when we look at this image again, it starts to click in a whole new way, right? It's not just some bizarre picture anymore. It's basically the poster for this entire philosophy. It is scenic absurdity, and it perfectly sums up a performance that finds real meaning in things that don't make logical sense. Now, a show this unique doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There has to be a fascinating mind behind it all. So, who's the person who built this whole paradoxical world? Well, let's meet Enrique Fetterman. And let me tell you, Fetterman isn't new to this game. He is a huge deal in the Argentinian theater world. A respected actor, a teacher, a director. We're talking about a long, celebrated career, winning major awards, working with absolute legends like Mauricio Cartoon. The guy is a master of his craft, plain and simple. So the question is, how does a big shot director like that end up creating this? To figure that out, we've got to go back to his artistic roots. We've got to follow his journey from clown to philosopher. And here's the key. This whole show is him going back to where he started. He's literally revisiting his old craft as a clown with which he shone at the beginning of his career. So his starting point isn't some high-minded theory. It's the messy, physical, emotional, and often failure-filled world of the clown. But he's not just doing a nostalgia trip. He takes those clowning roots and smashes them together with this scenic absurdity that is already the hallmark of his creations. It's this mix of his past and his present that makes something completely new. A show that's somehow both hilarious and incredibly deep. Okay, so this is all really cool for the theater world. But what about the rest of us? Why should we care? Well, the show's final message pulls the camera way back and brings this whole idea crashing right into our own lives. And it's a powerful one. Here is. La paradoja nos atraviesa. Convivimos con ella. Somos paradoja. That translates to, the paradox runs through us. We live with it. We are paradox. And that's the whole point. The contradictions you see on stage, they aren't just for show. They're a mirror. We are all just walking, talking collections of paradoxes, a jumble of past and future, wins and losses, logic and total absurdity. And so, we're left with this final thought. Tácito Imperfecto isn't just a play, it's a mirror. It's holding up our own messy, complicated nature and asking us to look at our own inconsistencies, not as mistakes, but as the stuff that actually makes us human. So it makes you wonder, right? What are the beautiful contradictions that define you?